So the Super 8s are around the corner right now, and South Africa are going to be taking on India in the first game. What a way to start the Super 8s. I mean, we can't ask for a better test, I would say, or a game that can possibly really boost us and our belief that we can win this tournament. You win this game against India, the belief in the team, the togetherness will just grow. So hopefully that is the aim from South Africa's standpoint, and hopefully they get that victory and they can really push for that semi-final spot, and then hopefully the final, and then hopefully win it. The first ever ICC white ball, I would say, the World Cup to win. So we're going to be discussing that on today's show, the India game, of course, the first game. And we'll look through our T20 World Cup companion to have a look at what we've said in that publication about India, strengths and weaknesses, etc. We know what ground we're playing on. It's a ground that South Africa is very, very familiar with. Essentially, it's our home ground in the tournament because we've played majority of our matches there. So we should be very familiar with the conditions and the pitch and all of those type of things. We should also be familiar with the foe because we have players in this side that have played with them in IPLs, etc. So we should really, really know these players. We've played a lot of internationals against them as well. So we should be comfortable with understanding the opposition. We're going to kick off the show, though, with an announcement. The New Zealand touring squad has been announced, and I'm going to be reading out the names for you, and we're going to listen to Coach Shukri's press conference. Now, I haven't listened to his press conference yet, so there could possibly be some questions in there about the India as well. So let's see what that press conference is all about. But before we get going, before we get started, there's a couple of things I'd like you guys to please do. First and foremost, subscribe to the channel. Click that notification bell for all future videos. Smash the like button, comment, and share. And don't forget to comment in the comment section after we've ended the stream. I've also put the T20 World Cup companion link in the description for you guys to get. It's still 100% free. So go and get your copies right now. It actually is your second screen, and it helps you enjoy the World Cup in a way that you wouldn't have before. So please go ahead and get your copy. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's preview. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine. This is your preview show. I'm your host, Khalid, and this is the show where we discuss everything that has to do with the Super 8s. But we're also going to be discussing the New Zealand touring squad that was announced earlier today. Now, guys, I'm going to only give you about 30 minutes today, 35 minutes or so, because I have to go break my fast. I have started Ramadan. So, yeah, I'm going to have to go break my fast, of course. So I hope you guys do understand that I need to leave earlier than normal. So let's get straight into today's show. I'm going to start with the squad because the squad was announced and it's very interesting. It's a very interesting squad. It's clear that Coach Shukri is going to be giving some people opportunity to rest. Now, he probably did ask them and asked some of the players who would like to have a rest. So these are the players that are going on this T20 tour. It's Keshav Maharaj, Otniel Bartman, Ethan Bosch, Gerald Coetzee, Tony de Zorzi, Connor Esterhuizen, Dean Forrester, Jordan Herman, Ruben Herman, George Linder, Obani Mokwena, Prinalin Zubrayan, Andile Semalani, Luto Sepamla, and Jason Smith. That's the squad for you. Very exciting squad because a lot of these names are guys that you fans out there, all of us, have been calling for some of these players to get opportunity. One name that really stands out here is Jordan Herman. We've been saying this for years that he should be getting a chance to play for the Proteas. He's been toiling away domestically and in the SA20 for years now, being consistent. And he's now earned a call-up, I feel. Dean Forrester is a very exciting player. Connor Esterhuizen is also a very exciting player. Otniel Bartman, I think he deserves to be even in this World Cup squad currently, but he hasn't been selected. Obani Mokwena is a very exciting bowler. In the SA20 this year, he really stood out. I was very impressed with his performances and the pace that he bowls with and the accuracy. Andile Samalani is an all-rounder that we are waiting for, not waiting for him to really take a hold of his opportunities and show us his real true talent. He hasn't shown that yet. Luther Sapam has been in and out of the Proteas side, so that is something that is very interesting to see him back in the mix. He had a good T20, um, domestic T20 competition as well, um, and SA20 as well. Jason Smith getting more opportunities. That's brilliant to see. Ruben we know about, George we know about, Gerald Kutsia we know, Tony DeZorzi we know, and Ethan Boss getting some more opportunities to play. The only thing about Ethan, he has brilliant control, brilliant accuracy. His batting is decent when he gets going. But I think that if he had a little bit more pace, it would have been a whole different story. I think he would be a whole different type of player. But yeah, let's get into the press conference and have a listen to what Coach Shukri had to say.
Dion Forrest's inclusion, a kid that came out of pretty much nowhere 2.5 seasons ago, being consistent in all formats of the game. So great for him to get called up. And when last have there been two brothers in the same Proteas squad for a series?
You're asking some tough questions early in the piece here, Morgan. With regards to two brothers, I think the last two brothers might have been the two brothers that come up against each other on Sunday in the Morkel brothers. Other than that, I'm not too sure. But yeah, with regards to Dion, I think he's done particularly well. He's been part of our high performance program. And then obviously during SA20, he's done particularly well, and we're always wanting to increase our depth in so far as the all-rounder pool is. A nice tall left-hander. He hasn't done much bowling in the SA20, but definitely something that we're looking to build upon. But really thrilled for Dion. I think he's done particularly well and deserves his call-up, yes.
Thanks, Morgan. Tiernis then for those.
Hi, Shukri. Just want to know if you guys have had any cupcakes the last few days.
I need to get off the cupcakes. It was quite hilarious. Someone showed me the ad last night or the night before. But yeah, quite hilarious, and adds to what's going to be a special occasion on Sunday.
Thanks,
Special
Tiernis, for
occasion
those.
on Sunday.
How's it, Chuks? Yeah, just to add on to that question, I mean, there's obviously a lot of hype in India, and you can definitely feel that there's an emphasis on this game. Cupcakes aside, having experienced it for yourself just a little bit earlier, a couple of months ago last year, what are you expecting, and how did that, if at all, prepare you for what you think you may come up against on Sunday?
I thought the tour we came on, especially the T20 side of things, gave us a really good insight as to what we can be up against.
Yeah,
I think we've been fortunate in that we've been stationed in Ahmedabad for a few weeks now, or
that's what I said.
certainly the first 3 games, and then we're back here again for 2 matches. So if there's any advantage to be gained insofar as conditions, I think it gives us a good feel. But I think that tour prepped us really well in terms of the hostility, the fervour that's being built up around Sunday. I mean, 132,000 people are going to be crammed into the stadium, and they're going to be in blue, So I think that prepared us for a lot of what's going to come still, and especially Sunday. But Sunday is just one of a few matches that we have to win to get through, and I think we as well prepared as we can be.
For those, just checking if that's a follow-up or...
Yes, please.
Yeah, go ahead.
And then, Shuk, sorry, you mentioned obviously Sunday's one game, and now you've got this bottleneck where the 4 unbeaten teams are all in the same group, and then the 4 ones who've lost are in the other group. So does it make it a bit harder, because it feels almost like it should be the other way? You don't want the best teams knocking each other out.
Yeah, look, I mean, the teams are so closely matched. I mean, it took us 44 overs to win our first game, or our second game against Afghanistan, and that just shows how closely teams are matched. And it could have been any side in any of the groups. So yeah, not too perturbed as to who's in our group. We had a really tough group to get through, and now we've got another tough group. Every group's tough, and you've got to play against the best at some stage, And India ranked 1 in the world, arguably the best T20 side. No better time than to come up against them first up.
It's true. All of that what
Thanks
you're
for
saying
those.
is true.
Sahir?
Guys, I'm not going to be pausing too much because I need to get through it. It's 23 minutes this particular press conference, so it's very long, and I need to get this show done before 35 minutes past or 25 to.
Just on that, there are 2 other games still in the groups. As big as Sunday is, I mean, it's not a bad time to play them because it's not a must-win, so to say. Does that take a little bit of pressure off you guys?
No, I don't think there's anything that takes pressure off. The pressure's always there, I mean, we saw the importance of winning against Canada, and then obviously the big game was the Afghanistan game. And similarly, you get off to a good start and you run with the momentum. All of a sudden, you only need 1 more win, and you're watching other results, etc., etc. But I think whilst things are in your hands, and once you get off to a flyer, and I mean the team's in a really confident space. We know how important India is, but if we get the right result, great. The West Indies then becomes the next biggest match, and then that comes, and then Zimbabwe becomes the next biggest match. So as it stands right now, we don't look past Sunday, and it's the biggest match of our competition thus far. Yes.
Fiction, just to follow up, I was in that stadium when 130,000 people got silenced by Travis Head. Does that mean that you need a innings up front from McConey or Aiden, or even with a ball, KG, Lungi, to strike early just to silence all of that and get you guys settled?
Yeah, I mean, pressure is a big thing, pressure both for us and them. I think we all talk about the pressure of playing against the top side, but we not quite aware of what the pressures they are under. And I'm not for one suggesting that a guy that has 3 noughts in his last 3 matches comes under pressure in his position in the side. No, I think they're an inexperienced side in World Cups. They're missing 2 huge players in Rohit and Virat. We saw what that does for their one-day side. And if we can put them under early pressure, yes, who knows, but they've still got a wonderful side. Their bowling attack obviously centers around Bumrah and Chakrabarti. Their batting lineup, they love hitting sixes. They love putting you under pressure from the first ball. And if we can strike a few early blows with the ball and similarly withstand an early onslaught with a bat, then that will go a long way to giving us the right result.
That New Zealand match is the blueprint on how they should approach it. You want to dominate the power play with the ball or with the bat. You want to be good in the field. You don't want a performance like we had against the UAE. That needs to, I hope that was out of our system, and now we can move on and be great again, like we were against New Zealand, like we were against Afghanistan as well in patches. But the New Zealand match is the blueprint match. We need to play like that against India.
Thanks. So here, Percy, I just want to check if there's an Afrikaans question in there, if we'll just slot you towards the end.
I'll wait until the end. Lucy, thank you so much.
Perfect. Talford, then Stu.
Thanks, Lucy. How's it, Shukri? We've spoken about cupcakes and 132,000 people in blue, and every time I look at the TV, Rohit is advertising something else. And I just wonder, how do you keep your guys' eye on the ball? I know a lot of them have played in the IPL and been to India before, but it's such an overwhelming thing, cricket in this country. How do you keep them focused on the task at hand?
It's been the easiest job thus far. The guys are, like you mentioned, they've got experience at World Cups. They've got experience of IPLs. They know what playing in India is about. But the guys have been brilliant in that respect. The guys get out, they play their golf, they play their paddle. And yeah, when the time comes to do some graft, they do that. But they manage to balance everything particularly well. And yeah, that's been the easy bit, Alfred. We know that it's going to get ramped up now with Super 8's, etc. But yeah, I'm pretty confident that insofar as the guys being nice and balanced as to how we prep for the first round. We'll keep that and do it our kind of way, the Super 8s as well. But the guys have been particularly good in just leading quite a balanced time whilst we've been here.
Thanks, Tuppet. Stu, then Kaniso.
Thanks, Lucy. Hi, Shukri. On Lungi and Gidi, it's been a crazy journey with the two of you. He admitted very publicly he was angry after being dropped from the test side. And in this period, he's gone from not being in the last World Cup, T20 World Cup, to suddenly being the mainstay of this bowling unit, or at least the spirit of this bowling unit. Can you explain that journey and why you think he's been as good and as important to the Proteas team this time?
I've got this habit of making people angry. Something I've got to work on. Maybe Lucy will get me into some classes or something. But on a serious note, I think Lungi's reacted exactly how we wanted. Coming back into he got clarity in terms of a lot of things. Where we're going to use him in the test space, conditions that we don't think is going to be as effective in the test space that is. So we kind of plotted that thing for him. And I think in the T20 space, the one thing that he's really enjoyed is the responsibility of making decisions. Him deciding on how he wants to do things, us being a sounding board, and obviously his relationship with 8’s is a really solid one. So I think clarity has been a really big thing for him. And maturity, as well. I mean, Lungs is married and all sorts of things. So maturity is a hell of a thing as well. So you kind of in a position to put everything in a space that it really belongs. And I think it's a combination of quite a few things, but I think his role definition has gone a long way, and we saw it in the SA20 as well. But it's coming on for a while in the Proteas side now, where he's been one of the spearheads of our attack, and certainly one of the most important cogs in our wheel when it comes to wicket taking in T20 cricket. He's got the ability to strike up front, in the middle, and if he's asked to bowl at the death, he can do that as well. So he understands his game particularly well now.
Yeah, and his slower balls, back of the length, those type of things, but he's very good at, so on difficult surfaces, on sticky surfaces, on slower surfaces, Lungi excels. So, yeah.
Kaniso.
Yeah, thank you very much, Lucy. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Shuks. Shuks, speaking of wicket-taking cogs, India have one in Varun Chakravarti, who's been a problem for the Proteas across 2 T20 series. Outside of Bumrah's threat is well known, well documented, but how much work has been put into ensuring that there's some plan towards neutralizing him on Sunday?
Yeah, I think we obviously talk around the potential threats. I mean, it's no secret. You look at how India structure their bowling. It's really about trying to manage run rates with the other bowlers, and then those two, Bumrah and Chakravarti, striking. So look, a lot depends on the conditions. I think our guys, some of our guys, the guys that we had here in December, not many of them have played against Chakravarti before. The guys that we got here now have obviously encountered him in T20. So the guys have got clear plans as to how they want to go about playing him. Whether he's sitting on him, whether he's taking the attack to him, a lot depends on how we're going, But we're certainly not going to be ultra defensive and look to just weather the storm, because that's when great players really pounce on you and they climb all over you, So we've got to strike the right balance. Obviously, depending on the conditions, we had to look at the wicket. Today, it's a black soil wicket for no surprises there. And then we've obviously got to look at our plays on Sunday evening. But everybody's got their plan as to how to encounter him, but we're certainly not going to go with the one size fits all for all the batters.
And just as a follow-up then, moving to just India's batting group, have you been surprised at how tough they found it going in the World Cup, vis-a-vis how they've thrived in bilaterals where probably conditions were slightly tailored to the survival, whereas World Cup pitches tend to behave differently. I mean, Sharma, for example, walks into Sunday's game on the back of 3 consecutive tacks.
I think it's pressure. I don't think the wickets are any different. If anything, I think the wickets were slightly better now than it was when we were here a couple of months ago. But
Interesting.
I think the pressure of a World Cup, everybody was, prior to the World Cup, people were talking of scoring 300 pluses and all sorts of things. Generally, the World Cups, there's a lot more at stake. Bilaterals, guys come in and they play with a lot more gay abandon and do their thing, and then they walk off and on to the next type of vibe. But World Cups bring a decidedly different type of pressure, scrutiny, and especially a side like India, they're going to be under a hell of a lot of pressure to make the semi-finals and obviously go on and make the final as well. So we'll hopefully be playing on that, and hopefully we can expose them and make them vulnerable under that pressure.
Thanks, Kaniso. We're going to go Tennis Vidosa here and then wrap with Percy.
Shukri, you've just been talking about the pressure on that they're feeling in the batting lineup, and the papers also here. The talk is that they're struggling to dominate finger spinners, especially. So, two-part question to you. The first part is they have, I think, 5 of the top 7, 6 of the top 8 batsmen are left-hand batsmen. The first part of the question is: do you think maybe sometimes matchups, offies to left-handers are a bit overstated? And even though if you say yes, then maybe would you have Aiden in mind to play a bigger role with the ball on Sunday?
I think the matchups, I think it is overstated, and I'm not a big fan of it. Sometimes the wickets are so good that it takes the matchups out of the equation. If there's something in the wicket, there's a little bit of holes, a little bit of spin, then obviously I think the matchup is there for the off spinner against the left-hander. Maybe the angle you create sometimes, but by and large, I think it's slightly overstated on really good batting wickets. If you look at how Abhishek's been dismissed, it's certainly not the ball spinning past him, but rather the one that comes in at him type of thing, from the finger spin. So we've got options. We've got options in guys like Aiden, who's done a job for us before. He hasn't bowled much. I think he's only bowled like 2 overs in this entire World Cup thus far. Do we see more of him on Sunday? I'd be surprised if we don't.
For those into here.
So you mentioned
that will be the logical thing, against the lefties up top to bowl Aiden Markram. But that will be Aiden's decision on the day, dependable on the conditions and how his bowlers actually start the game.
Maturity and cupcake gate and everything aside, there can sometimes creep in like a little bit of joviality, I suppose, into the game, which is good. But how are you balancing how seriously you have to take this with maybe your own enjoyment of being at a World Cup, and then also the need to keep it light?
Yeah, look, I said to the side the other day, and I said purely as a coach, and obviously we try and be as nice and calm as you possibly can because players feed off that energy as well. The first half or the group stages was the anxious bit for me. This is now the excitement because, and this is not making light of the Afghanistans and the Canadas, etc. But you're anxious because I think tournament cricket is almost 3 parts to it. You're going to get out of the group stage and you're going to find a way of just getting out of that group stage. So we do that. And now you look and you say, right, we've got India first up and then the West Indies and some of the most entertaining players in the world. And then that excites me. And I think the players, again, the guys have been so calm in the way they've gone about things. We certainly haven't had the need to either hype things up or tone things down. But look, if the need arises, we'll obviously have that conversation. But at the moment, it's going along nicely. It's ticking over nicely. The guys are clear in terms of their plans. The practices have been very structured, individual practices rather than team practices. So the guys know exactly what it is they want and how they want to prepare leading up to match day. We try and keep it light, but a false lightness and an artificial lightness also doesn't count for much. So we keep it real more than anything else.
Keep it real.
Thanks for those. So here.
Good one, Shuks. Just I know you've played India recently, but has there been any talk about Barbados at all? The fact that obviously you went down and you get reminded about that in the media in India all the time.
I don't understand Hindi, so I don't read the papers. So I don't know. I mean, I wasn't in Barbados. It certainly hasn't come up in any of our chats. There's been nothing about redemption and revenge and all of the words, and I'm going to be careful what words I use here. But no, it's nothing about Barbados.
Thanks here. I just have one from Keenan who's just struggling to connect before we go to Percy. It's just to ask if there's any concern about Dewald Brevis's form and just how crucial his role is in the side and tackling spin in the middle overs.
Dewald, I mean, Albie said it the other day. It's a line we use often. He's going to break our hearts, and then one day he's going to do something so special. And I've got a really good feel about Sunday and the matches to follow. Consistency is really not something we look for in T20 cricket.
That's what I said.
We're wanting impact, and I think Dewald is that player that can make that impact on the game single-handedly, and so can other players. But the bigger the occasion, the real Dewald Brevis stands up. We saw that in SA20s, that he had a lean period, and then running into knockout stages, he then stands up. And I think he's that type of guy that the bigger the occasion, he thrives under that. So we're hoping it's Sunday and the 26th as well as the 1st. But yeah, I'm not too worried. He'll find his way. He's an X-factor player for us, and we give him his head, and allow him to do that. And maybe that's the Trevor's head that you're looking for, Zaya.
Thanks, Percy.
Lucy, baie dankie vir die geleentheid.
Okay,
Goeiemiddag.
Afrikaans question is going to be a long ass Afrikaans question from Percy. So I'm not gonna do that one. But we're gonna go through this quickly. This is our T20 World Cup companion, and I just want to go through what we've covered with regards to this game. So wait, why did I take the long route? There is a contents page for a reason. So let's go to the Super 8's section. And let's go to India. Yeah, so we know how it works. We've explained Zimbabwe kicked out Australia, of course. First match we're playing is 3:30 p.m. South African Standard Time in Ahmedabad. And the team, okay, currently ranked number 1 in the world T20 as, like Coach Shukri said now, India are viewed as overwhelming favorites to win the tournament. They come into the match against SA with the same record of 4 wins out of 4 in the group of the competition. India did get a scare against the USA, but still managed to come through unscathed thanks to brilliant innings by the effervescent captain Suryakumar Yadav, Sky Yadav. Suryakumar Yadav. I don't know why I said it like Sir, what I blah 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 blah. So it's the fasting getting to me. India had the better of the Proteas in the World Cup warm-up match, where opening left-handed wicketkeeper batter Ishan Kishan scored a brisk 53 of just 20 balls. India amassing 240 for 5 in 20 overs, to which SA replied with 210 for 7. Kishan was also in imperious form against Pakistan and Namibia, scoring 77 of 40 balls in a large win over their subcontinent rivals, 61 of 24 against the Eagles. Hardik Pandya produced a match-winning all-round performance against Namibia, and the veteran will be eyeing another excellent outing on Sunday. He averages over 44 with the bat against SA, at a strike rate of 140, and has taken 14 wickets in 20 matches at 34. Bad, guys. We need to stop Hardik. The Proteas will be well aware that leg break googly bowler Varun Chakravarti, he was mentioned countless of times in the press conference. That's why he's in here. Poses as much of threat as Jasprit Bumrah. and both have recorded economy rates in and around 6 to the over in the tournament so far. We need to stop them, guys. Chakravarti's 22 wickets in 8 matches against SA must be a concern for the Proteas brain trust. We'll need to come up with some way to negate his threat, and this was mentioned in the press conference. So you can see we're doing some great work here with the guide. This was in here already for days. This includes 10 in the recent series in India in December 2025. India won the series 3-1 with a high-scoring final match in Ahmedabad, a dress rehearsal for the Super 8's clash. Here's the scorecard. India's record at home against the Proteas is played 16, won 8, 7 losses, and 1 no result. Basically equal. The men in green and gold will be buoyed by the statistics and will be looking for the 8th victory in the Super 8's match. Key threats, we mentioned already, guys. But all the top order of the host can pose some challenges with Ishan Kishan, the form player. Abhishek Sharma, 3 consecutive ducks though. And Tilak Varma are yet to fire in the T20 World Cup. So it's almost like written in the stars that they're going to come good at some point. Hopefully it's not against South Africa. Look no further than Captain Sky to find his range with a bat. And South Africa may be looking at a 200 plus score if India bats first. We need to decide what we're going to do there. On the bowling front, it is likely that India will play Burma considering the importance of the occasion. He is always a threat. And the guile of Chakravarti may mean that the free-flowing middle overs to which SA have become accustomed could be curtailed somewhat. Pandya and Axar are very handy in that phase, which could make chase a lot more difficult. The weaknesses South Africa can target, India at home on a batting-friendly pitch are difficult to bowl to. Pace off, Lungingiri, may be an option in the power play as the batters will be looking to come hard at the opening bowlers. So Lungingiri, maybe some Aiden Markram. Riyad says Lungingiri will play a role. He's SA's leading wicket taker in the World Cup so far, and wickets will be key in restricting the run scoring. Definitely, we're going to have to take early wickets. We have to dominate that power play. And Marco Jansen has to come out on top over there. He needs to bowl smartly and consistently, and no wides and no balls. Strength can be weaknesses, and targeting Chakravarti early will be important. He can concede at over 10 to the over if he loses his length. So this will be an area that the Proteas will be well aware of. Key matchups, Jansen versus Kishan. Great battle up front. And Gedi's variation will be important in the latter of the power play. However, whoever is at the crease, sorry. But it depends who they're going to open up with. If they open up with the likes of Aiden Markram, then we could see maybe Markram coming in. Jansen coming in second change and then Lungingiri bowling at the right hand and left-handers. Rabada Sky into play, and don't be surprised if Captain Markram bowls the left-handed openers in the power play. Who wins the contest between Kesha Maharaj and Sky, they could decide the match. On the batting side, the Cock and Markram will look to dominate early. That's definite. You know that we need to get a good start. So if Bumrah or Siraj open, they will be targeting the hard new ball. How Deva Brevis deals with Chakravarti should be a wonderful watch, and I hope that he comes good. The mixed right and left hand SA batting lineup may negate some of Aksar's effectiveness, so keep a beady eye on how Rickleton and Miller deal with the slower left armour. The likely team for India will be Ishan Kishan, Sharma, or Sanju Samson, but Tilak Varma, mostly likely Sharma, Tilak Varma, Surya Kumar Yadav, Hardik Pandya, Shivam Dubey, Riku Singh, Aksar Patel, Kuldeep Yadav, Mohammad Siraj, Varun Chakravarti, and Jasprit Bumrah. So that's our little preview, guys. Looking forward to the match. It's going to be exciting, going to be a good test. South Africa need to be, like I said, they need to approach us like they approached that New Zealand game. We need to dominate the power plays, field really well, make sure that we bowl well at the depth, make sure that we tighten those middle overs so that the game doesn't get pulled away from us. That's something that's the one weakness that we have that we need to fix. KG needs to be on song because we can't have a bowler being too expensive. Lungingiri needs to be 100% effective. Now I'm happy that he got a rest so that he can be full strength against India. Keshav Maharaj is going to be crucial. What are they going to do with the lineup? Are they going to play Corbin Bosch? Most likely they will not play two spinners on this ground in a day, in a night match. We most likely should chase, let them bat first, put the pressure on them early, and then attack them from ball one. That's my sentiments. Let me just get into some of the live chat before I go. Shadrach says, massive game. The winner will have 1 foot in the semis. The boys play to their potential. They win. But they need to be completely switched on and take every half chance they can get. Dominate all those moments in the match. Anon Body says, I hope Jason Smith can submit his main team through this series performance. That's in the New Zealand series that we spoke about. That press conference only had one question about the match, about the squad. Craziness that they had the announcement because of the squad, and then the team that took over. Press conference was just about the World Cup, and I knew that was going to happen. Shad Drake says, very interesting squad. Looking forward to testing the depth of the pipeline. Gonna be double headers with the ladies and gonna try and wake up at 4 a.m. laugh out loud. I'm going to have to, eh? Sanjay says, Khalid, give your predictions for India SA Super 8 match. Will Aiden bowl first if he wins the toss? I think he will bowl first. Unknown Nobody 9 says, Stubbs, Brevis will play IPL, then the 100. Also, many players from the team, so opportunity of players to step up. Shadrach says, we should bowl first if we win the toss, and Aiden should bowl the first over against the lefties. The Messiah 126 says Markram has to bowl because of the left-handed batters in India's batting, but I would have liked to see they selected a specialist off spinner. You know, the thing is about it as well is this. Like Coach Shukri says, and I kind of actually agree with him. Yes, that matchups make sense when you are particularly bowling on spinning tracks, but if the conditions aren't conducive for the bowler, then those matchups are almost irrelevant in a way. But Markram, it's a good option. If the pitch is good for that, if the conditions suit it, then bowl him up in a power play. I mean, that can only be the option that they go with. But guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to smash the like button, comment, share, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you're new and click the notification bell for all future videos. I'm sorry that I have to run off. It is time for me to break my fast. So I'm going to have to leave you guys. But I wanted to do the show 2 days beforehand so that people can have tomorrow to watch it. Go and download our World Cup companion, our T20 World Cup companion. The link is in the description. You can get the full idea of how South Africa can prepare for this match and what they can do, what the South African stats are at the ground. All of those things are there for you guys. It's live updated. So go ahead and get your copies straight away. It's 100% free. Don't forget to comment in the comment section after I've ended the stream as well. And smash the like button and share with all your friends and family. Thanks a lot, everybody, for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And I'll see you guys on Sunday after the match for the review show. Stay safe. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Peace out.